Annoying.
Recording in progress.
Yes. Hello. Welcome. This is episode 4 of Third Eye Cousins. I don't know the name of it.
That's where we're going.
I forget the titles of everything I put. Like, but I know it's episode 4. So here we are again. So I was thinking when I was taking a shower, I was like, we always just go in and just start yapping away and whatever and stuff like that. But like even though we've kind of like introduced ourselves and stuff like that, but I want you to formally introduce yourself, like let people know, like before we start going into the babbling and channeling and the talking and stuff like that, like who are you? What do you do? What kind of line of work are you in? How can people find you and contact you if they wanted to, if they needed to and stuff, because you do important things, like stuff that's not like, that's the stuff that I stay away from. I go to people like you so that you could do that for me. Because that's not my alley and that's not my leveling of expertise at all. And so I speak gibberish in that language, so I don't even know what to say in that department for you. So I want you to say it for yourself, because I'm not going to be able to do that before we start, like going into
so it. In brief, my name is Ernesto Rivera, and we're cousins, right?
Yes. Third eye cousins, third or fourth cousins, yeah.
Yeah, so professionally, I work in finance. I'm a financial educator. I like to say educator more than insurance broker, because I do more educating than brokering.
I love that.
But I help people with their finances, set up budgets, learning how to budgeting. Basically, how to save
put you on the spot though.
How to grow their money, or just in general, how to build generational wealth. I know that's like a dirty word nowadays, but really, like for me, like wealth is not the amount of money you have, but the amount of time you have to do whatever it is that you want to do. So a lot of people are wealthy with just a very small amount of money, because that allows them to do whatever they want. Some people need more money because they have a bigger lifestyle. So, but in general, just I help people make their money work for them so that they can free up their time.
I like that. And I
focus a lot on the minority community. I know that's another like loaded word, but I focus on the people who really don't have. Right.
Really don't have the mindset to think that they have, and you help readjust that mindset for. And so you see, like, so in that department, we're similar. We're the same. Like, the building up of other people and helping them to be and live their best lives and be their best version of themselves in different departments. This is why so many of us are needed. Like, it's not like, this is why, like when people get competitive with one another, it's like we each have something to offer that's different than the other. And it also like just contributes to the collective in a massive evolutionary way. So never discredit that what you do, even if it's not on and popping or popular or whatever. The consistency and the dedication you give to that what you build will grow. Like, it's just a matter of time, like you say, like, making the best use of your time. So that's great. That's like, I wish I learned better time management early on for myself, because I feel that if I did, the stuff that people think, now, she's mass producing, she's doing so much, that is like a lot of shitload of time of buildup, like of making something, like even like with one of my arts and crafts that I'm doing now, that I wanted to do 4 or 5 years ago. It's now that I'm getting to do it, a certain craft. But yeah, continue. I'm sorry. I just get,
No, go ahead. Yeah.
No. But you weren't even done talking. I was just excited about what you do now.
So that's me professionally. Before that, I worked in the healthcare industry for like 7 years. Before that, I was driving a truck and doing all kinds of other stuff. But the more interesting aspect of my life, I think, for myself, if I could evaluate myself, is the real spiritual journey that I took, that started about 15 years ago. Right.
I feel like we started longer than that. I think you should give yourself more years than that, because
Well,
I feel like when we were children, we were always talking about weird out there stuff. So never say that you started your spiritual journey 15 years ago, because I remember an 8-year-old me and a 9-year-old me and a how old? Seven, right? I don't know how many years younger you are. We were talking about shit that nobody was talking about.
Right, exactly.
So I guess you've just always been, I guess you woke to it.
Yes, 15 years ago. That's what I was gonna say. 15 years ago is when I realized.
Oh, I've been spiritual.
That's what, you know, and that's just, again, that's also a loaded word, but I realized that there's a separation between the mind and the body, and there's a realm inside of us that we have access to that a lot of people are not aware of. Right, what we call, whatever they want to call it, consciousness. Right. I don't even know what they call it. The spirit realm, the conscious realm.
Well, that's why this is now maybe you can understand my eccentricities better too. So this is what I call multidimensionality. There's so many multidimensionalities into everything. Like if you want your mind to be like, whoa, blown, just think about in everything, there's a multi-dimensional aspect to that in everything that is in everything. So you are a multi-dimensional being. And like, I don't like to compartmentalize it so much, but to simplify it for people to grab the multi-dimensionality into you as a human, as a soul. It's mind, body, heart, and soul. And I feel like if we can compartmentalize and understand that each of those departments require different aspects of ourselves to show up, to infuse, and then also after they show up and infuse, then they have to be introduced to the other and then infuse. And so each of these different multidimensionals, you know, we learn as we grow, and depending on our leveling of intellectualism and consciousness, right, that's going to develop differently for everybody, right? So some are going to be more aware of their development more so than others at different age, stage, range of time, space, and stuff. And I do correlate a lot of people that may have started even earlier, like than others, due to trauma in their lives, like because it forces them to isolate in a way that a lot of the other the children that are growing at their age and rate doesn't get to experience. And so they're more like the sheep out there, like, you know, just overly, while the traumatic souls, right, let's say, like, are self-isolating in some kind of capacity because they're separated from their system in some kind of way, which causes, I think, because that could be the only logical explanation I can come up with in terms of why I feel like I've always been consciously aware, and maybe also being an only child for 6 or 7 years before my sister was born. Like, I don't know if that, you know, like also contributes, you know, to a certain kind of leveling of self-awareness. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so I think it does, because I didn't have my brother till I was 12.
Right, I remember.
I was by myself, and the only people around me were like my older cousins beating me up, or you know, drugs and alcohol and all of this stuff. Right. So when I would go home, I would be by myself. I feel like at 10, 11 years old, I was already evaluating, like, what am I thinking? Right. It's funny because my 14-year-old the other day, you know, he had not a traumatic experience, but he realized that he has a lot of thoughts that are not his. He's like, Dad, I don't know why. I'm just starting, like, he says he hears voices, but I'm like, it's not that you hear voices, it's that's your mind is just active. I was like, that's literally inside your mind. And you're starting to realize, like, that the realm of thoughts, right, is there. And now I'm teaching him how he has to focus his ideas, how there's some good thoughts and some bad thoughts. Like, you know, if you condemning yourself, or if you're feeling guilty for something that you shouldn't be feeling guilty for, then that's something separate than, you know, finding joy or being.
This conversation excites me because now this opens up a realm of personal experience for me, to go back into my early childhood experience, right? Because I understand when someone says they hear voices, right? But as a, like, I want to say, because this was even before my sister was born, so I was like 3, 4, 5. There was one particular voice that I would hear that I understood at that age, right, was not mine, right? And this particular, now I'm 40 plus years, right? I have a deeper understanding to that childhood experience, that I could psychologically understand the processes that were happening there. But during this pivotal time in my existence, I didn't understand it this way. I was just going through the emotions and the experience. So this voice annoyed me.
And there was nobody to explain it to you.
Right, exactly. So
it's even worse.
Right. So, but this particular voice was a masculine voice. I heard it as a male, right? And it bothered me. And it kept talking about like suicide, right? So I was already cognitive and aware, knowing that I don't think of suicide. I don't want suicide. So it made me think of hauntings. This is why I was always so into like extra, like, you know, ESP and ghost and all this kind of stuff, because I always felt connected to other channelings, right? So this started my early on curiosity to distinguish between hearing things that I only hear, hearing things from within my own being, and hearing things from stuff. As I got older, like when I started, like even just when I, like, you know, we grew up in Catholicism and stuff like that, but when I had my journey through the stages and I converted into Christianity and stuff like that, I then began exploring the intellectualism of processing the certain, like Dante's Inferno stages, and also because I also studied psychology, like also from our psyche, like, you know, and going through the different labyrinths of what certain kind of things can be. So it was when I was older that I started to also understand that I do tap in, turn on, tune in to other energies around me as well. So by this time of development, I already understood that if you come near me, I can process how you're feeling. I can, now granted, that took a long understanding of my own evolution to distinguish my feelings from someone else's, not making it intermingle, commingle, where you come into the room, you're feeling a certain type of way, and all of a sudden I'm feeling a type of way, but I'm self-interpreting and or thinking it's awkward between you and I or something like that, and overly thinking and overly analyzing, not allowing my intuition to just be my intuition and my empathic abilities to be my empathic abilities. The human is now trying to understand an uncomfortable feeling that's unknown to my system. So I'm trying to analyze, intellectualize, and process. So we fuck up a lot of things that way because we don't really understand what's going on here, because we're so in it that we're feeling it all at the same time. And this lack of ignorance, this lack of knowledge causes us to overly intellectualize and analyze from the capacity of that which we're at. Right. So that doesn't bring about solutions or whatever. But like, if later on, like the way that my mind works is like, even when I have these moments, there's a leveling of higher consciousness within me that knows later on I'm going to detach from this whole entire experience. And I'm like, it's like floating, where you can then see all the elements that did transpire, take place, that comes from exited, like, you know, like there's just so many different, like I go really, really like in and stuff like that. But understanding the levelings of process. So like when children say they hear voices and stuff like that, I don't discredit the possibility. Like I wouldn't say, no, that's not what you're hearing. Like you get what I mean? Like, yeah, it's just understanding the love language, the language that's being spoken. So for me, when I say that we're all intuitive and we all have the ability to discern and dissect and stuff, but we each have a different learning capacity. We all each have a different way of tuning into those frequencies. Some people more intense than others. It's just like my daughter. My daughter sees full blown out apparitions of things. I see shadow, light, and other kind of stuff. And sometimes from my peripherals, I'll see that, but she sees full blown here in the face. But now, granted, what you see and what I see may not be the same exact thing. It's like the animals. I learned this with the animals. Like, I know when there's something there. Me and all my cats are going like this. Mind you, there's nothing in the house, but we're all moving our heads and we're like, what is that thing? Like, mind you, what my cats are seeing and what I'm seeing are from totally two different multidimensional spaces, but yet there's something there. You get what I'm saying? Like, so to understand sight and understand sound and understand like how we perceive certain kind of things is going to be different from everybody. It's just like learning. So one of the books that I found that was so beneficial to me when I converted into Christianity, because I used to always go to the back of the church and buy all the books. I was good. I would go to the back of the church and I bought every book. I needed all the books because I'm a book whore, like, you know, and that's just what we do. So one of the most beneficial books that really opened up my eyes, and it helped me in developing a better relationship with my daughter, because at that time I used to say she was Stewie from Family Guy, like, because you know how he hates his mom. And like, and so mind you, she's young, but like I just used to say, and mind you, it's just different elements. We're working with different elements and stuff like that. But the book that was so like, for me, like life changing at that moment of where I was the 5 love languages of children.
Oh yeah.
Right. So, but what that opened up for me was for everybody, not just children. It's like, hey, we're not having a misunderstanding here. We're just having a misunderstanding of how our languages are being spoken. I just have to learn your love language. I have to learn how you're hearing, how you, so it applies to everything. It's how do you learn? How do you receive? Like, some people learn hands-on, some people learn through listening, some people learn through watching, some people learn through having to do it, like write it out, like, you know what I mean? So it's like taking these things. It's the same concept with spirituality. It's like, I hear voices. That's your, okay, now dissecting that voice, like, you know, like how you were saying, like figuring out where it's coming from and what it actually is and stuff like that. But like, there's so many other worldly parts and dimensions to our reality that, you know, granted, we got to go through the psyche to really see if there's not any malfunction, or, you know, there's so many things to go through and stuff like that. But voices, especially for the youth, I feel is more common and not spoken of as much. And this is what could also lead to a lot of like, you know, issues and stuff like that later on down the line, because it goes unspoken. They're told, you don't hear voices, you're crazy, or something like that, and it just spirals out of like, what is this then? And nobody speaks about certain kind of things. I didn't say you did that, but I'm just saying.
No, I'm saying like people that, like adults that would say that to children. I know all adults have similar, like we all have similar experiences, so there's no way that you can lay down in a place and be like, all right, I'm not going to think about anything. And then you're just getting bombarded with thoughts and ideas. Now, if that happens to adults, what makes you think it doesn't happen to children? Right. So when a child says, I hear a voice, or, you know, something's telling me something, and you as an adult are like, no, you're just going crazy. It's like, you experience the same thing as an adult.
Yeah, but they're not processing that information. Right, we spoke about that in episode 3.
That's what I mean.
Episode
like,
2. Right.
And what that does, it causes even more trauma. It causes kids to come up with their own solutions, and then they just grow up believing that, you know, whatever it is that they thought, that's what it exactly is, instead of it being more of a, you know, psychological thing. Like, you know, we have a subconscious. Our subconscious picks up information, and then it speaks to our conscience, and then there's this dialogue within our minds that we can't understand, but now we understand it. You know, I think me doing psychology and doing taking those classes in college really helped me to understand. because not a lot of people understand that. And I told my son, I was like, you need to take a psychology course. Either you read a book about psychology, or you take a whole course about psychology and about
I cursed
philosophy.
psychology when I was taking it, and it made me so angry. Don't get me started. It made me change my major. It made me change my major because I was so disappointed with the psychology that was being taught. And I was like, I cannot imagine myself doing this. I cannot imagine myself. This is the format. This is the template. This is the plane of existence that you're giving me to fall back. There's too many missing the component. I argued. I did not like it, and
clinical psychology. I don't.
Like, because when you take when you take psychology, like Western psychology and shit like that, you just have to take all the courses that are required for it. So you got to go through all that shit. So when I started going through all that shit, I disagreed with everything. I understand a lot of stuff. I get certain kind of things, but the treatment I disagreed with. I just didn't see how I was going to infuse spirituality, or I was even talking about becoming an astropsychologist. Like, I was like, I'll do astrology and psychology. I don't know. I'm going to figure it out. I'll infuse the two. And I was like, I'll be an astropsychologist, and that's what I'll be. And, all this kind of stuff. I went through so many type of like, what am I going to be when I grow up? I'm still, what am I going to be when I grow up? I'm a little bit of everything. Whenever my schmood and whatever, divine timing leads me to this space of place of creation. I'm an artist. Like, I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to call it. Entrepreneur, art. Like, stop giving me a fucking label. I am a multi-dimensional being that is a creator here on earth. And as I create, as I do, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, like I am like the moon. Like, I change. I have cycles. I have seasons. The same thing like with my witchyutopian.com. I don't expect inventory. It's a mood. I create as I create. Get it while it's hot. Like, it's like, it's seasonal. And then, whatever. Like, there's certain kind. That's why everything is custom. Everything is one of a kind. Like, I don't duplicate anything. It's like, if you ordered this from me, you're getting your own this from me. You know what I mean? Like, I'll make it right there. And it'll be specifically yours, not copying the one that I have. Like, got time for that. We don't got no time for copying shit. We just do it freestyle. Like, that's why I was like, I want to be a dancer, but I can't listen to choreography. I cannot get choreography for the life of me. Once I see somebody do it and I try to mirror it, and I'm like, what was that? I'm like, I don't know what you're doing. You should see me on the Just Dance games. I'm like, what's going on here? I'm looking like a retard. Someone should record that.
You should record it.
Don't you dare record that. I don't know what I'm doing here. I freestyle everything. I freestyle everything. It has to be. It's like, did you get that? Because it's never going to come again.
You're just off the cuff kind of.
Right. It's a mood. It's a thing. It's just a vibe. Like, it's what I'm feeling at this time. The healed aspect of me. Because I don't ever allow the destruction aspect of me to go on a rant or a rave, because that's destructive. It's not productive, and it doesn't provide a resolution.
It doesn't give any life, right?
Right. So I find art for me works. I'm a poet. I write, I sing, I dance, I perform. That makes me feel good. That's my therapy. Like, to knock it is to be like, you're denying me of expression, of healing. Like, I'm not going to sit with this. I don't feel comfortable sitting when I feel like this. No, I'm going to dance for this, because I don't have a solution for this. That's why I always tell people, I'm like, if you can't change the reality of something, shift your perspective. And sometimes that's hard to shift. So if you feel stuck anywhere, move, go for an intentional, purposeful walk. Get up and dance. Do an exercise that's intentional and purposeful for your situation, for your movement. Move your body. Like, move. If you're stuck, move.
That's funny.
It's so symbolic.
I was listening to a podcast yesterday. It was Jordan Peterson and this other dude. They were talking about the frontal cortex and how dopamine works,
Right.
how the hope, how the view of something, of you getting a reward or something, is more powerful than you actually getting the reward.
Right.
And sometimes that feeling of disappointment is because your dopamine drops lower than your base levels. So they were saying how sometimes if we think about a goal that's really far off, it'll turn us off.
Right.
Like, it'll drop those dopamine
Discouraged.
levels because you feel you can't get there.
Right.
But what he was saying is just do something small. He was like, just go mop and go say, oh, look, I finished mopping my floor, or go and complete a drawing or something, and your dopamine levels then start to rise, and you feel like, all right, I just
Accomplished something. Yeah.
So it's like you got to take these little steps that give you joy in order for you to get to the big
Accumulative. Of course,
so,
it makes absolute sense. Like absolute sense in that whole strategy. Like if you don't like the reality of something, move. It's just so symbolic. Like as you create those kind of things. That's another thing I work with. I do a lot of root work with people behind the scenes. Like when people have sessions with me, it's the root work. It's getting to the root of your truth. So that way you can identify and transmute and transform that root. Because if you don't get to the bottom of your truth, you're over here, I want to make $1 million, but you don't even know what $1 million looks like, feels like, tastes like, or you don't even believe that, you never seen that in your life, but you're here talking about I'm getting $1 million. Why the universe not saying the right things, but it's not working?
They don't even want, you know what's funny? If you talk to a lot of people who said that, like they wanted to be wealthy. In reality, what they wanted to do is free up their time. They just needed the $1 million to get there.
Right.
So it's not the $1 million itself. Is that aspect of having.
First of all, if you don't even know how to save your $100, when you get that million, it's gonna go like you wiped your ass with $1. Okay, because if you don't know how to work the $100 bill, you're not gonna know how to work the millions either. And this is coming from a spender. Like I'm not speaking anything like ignorantly in that, or oh, I'm better than you or anything. Nah, Jennifer likes to shop. Okay.
Well, I was having a
Jennifer has collectible things that she likes to collect. Okay.
I was having a conversation the other day, and this parable in the Bible came up about it was about the rich landowner, and he was going away for a vacation, and he left his servants with money. So he gave one quarter or $100 or whatever, just one. The other one had 2, the other one had 5. So then, he tells them, this is your money, do what you want with it. So then the guy who had 5, he doubled it to 10. The one who had 2 went, doubled it, and he had 4. Then the servant who got the 1, he took his 1 coin and he dug it into the ground. So when the master of the house came back, he was like, all right, where's the return on the investment? So the guy with 5 gave him the other 5, the guy with the 2 gave him the other 2. And then the last servant, he was like, all right, so where's the money that you have? And he gave him back the 1 coin. And he's like, what did you do with it? He's like, oh no, I was afraid, so I dug it into the ground. And then he was like, you're an unjust steward. So then the moral of that story is if whoever has more will be given.
Right. But
the person who has and is taken away, more will be taken away and given to the others. So that's a principle, because spiritually speaking is a principle, right? You have this faith, or you have this belief. If you take that faith and belief and just dig it into the earth, or you just keep it within yourself and you don't take any action, that knowledge is going to be taken from you in a sense, because you really don't have the knowledge, right? Transfer that into wealth and money management is the same thing. If you're a bad spender, I can give you $1 million. You're just going to spend it and then need $1 million more. So all those physical principles and those spiritual principles are the same. So if you have this wisdom and this knowledge, not only should you go act upon it, but you should go teach it and tell others about it, because this way you're increasing it. You're getting a return on the investment that God gave you, right? Because where does it all come from? The universe and God and consciousness and all of that. So if
divine, I like the word divine. I think divine matches everybody's belief systems.
Right. So then
unless you're atheist,
you get this wisdom and knowledge, And then for you not to share it and for you not to act on it, you're really just taking it and digging it into the ground and not getting any return on your investment. So that's why that's why life is about literally building other people up. That's what gives me life is giving other people life, right? And whatever that life appears to be, right? If somebody's hopeless and I can give them a word of encouragement and I see the joy in that person's eyes, and then they come and they say, Ernesto, all this stuff that you told me, it really helped me and all of that. To me, that's more reward than if I give this person $1,000 to get out of this situation. Because trust me, I get it. I get calls all the time. Oh, we need money, my wife and my kids. And I'm like, bro, me giving you money is not going to solve your problem. The problem is you need to take care of your home and you need to change your mindset. I have this friend that was in Africa, right? He was in Ghana. And he asked for money, right? So, I got together with some of my other friends and we sent money for him to Ghana because, he was getting kicked out of his house. He had a wife with 2 kids and all of that. So we sent him the money and he goes from Ghana to the Philippines looking for work. He's like, oh no, I had to leave my family in Ghana and I went to the Philippines and I'm looking for work, right? I didn't hear about anything for 2 years. So in those 2 years, I thought, all right, he's getting money, whatever, sending it back. 2 years later, he's messaging us again. Hey, I need another $1,000. It's like, no. Because in reality, what you need to do is go back to your family and struggle with them. Because right now you have a wife and a kid that are struggling in a country and you're like thousands of miles away. And you took the stuff that we gave you and you just dug it into the ground, didn't reinvest it into yourself. So the reality is that it's not the physical. You don't need anything physical. What you need is to change your mindset and the way that you view life and your struggle, right? So, that is more necessary than anything else. You need to go figure out that, hey, I'm a man, I have responsibilities. My family's struggling. I'm going to go struggle with them. And through that struggle, you're going to figure out a way, right? Because wisdom is given to anyone who asks. If you need wisdom,
I say
ask for it.
Now, wisdom is applied knowledge. That's one of my favorite quotes that I've been making up. Right. I've been saying wisdom is applied knowledge. But you know what your story...
wisdom is the action of knowledge.
Right. Your story reminds me, for the people that do watch me and stuff that come from like the tarot community and stuff like that, is of the Four of Pentacles. The Four of Pentacles card is usually in the traditional tarot, like I'm not going to go because there's so many variations of tarot, but the traditional tarot that everybody can say, oh, if they know the tarot, this card. The Four of Pentacles usually depicts a guy holding 4 coins tightly. He's holding all his 4 coins, his pentacles, around him tightly, and he's holding on to it and not letting it go. He's not doing anything with it because he's holding too closely to that which he's holding of much too much value over that which he can do more with. Like, you get what I mean? Like, so it's like holding on too tightly to that which is maybe holding you down for a little bit or something, or appearingly so, but how tight are you going to hold on to this and not allow yourself to further expand and grow or do that which you must in order to get that which you want, or desire to achieve and stuff like that and things like that. So it reminded me of the Four of Pentacles. I'm not supposed to say that.
I'm just looking at it now. Is the guy sitting, he got a coin
he's holding, right,
on his arms, and he's got his 2 feet on it.
Right. He's holding on tightly to that which he fears losing.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Losing.
People, a lot of people, because I just read that, it's about
beautiful. Go ahead, go.
Yeah. So that's another thing, like the past, holding on to the past. If you allow your past to define who you are today, your future will be your past. Right. Because you're not moving anywhere. Right. So that's the same thing. You need to invest and you need to put your knowledge to work. Right. You can't hoard your knowledge. You can't hoard your experience. You can't. You're gonna stay in the same place.
And you're gonna deal with the double-edged sword of that too, because you might live in your truth and you might live in your purpose, and then it might appear, because this perception is key, to surpass other things or people, places, and things or energies that once upon a time or a part of your life. So like people, instead of like, you know, like this is where sensitivity comes in and things like this. And personally, like, you know, like even for me, like, you know, like, and all this kind of stuff, like where you deal with a lot of the negativity. And it's not so much that too, like I realized this too, just as I'm very sensitive energetically. Like I said, tapped in, turned on, tuned in. So when you come into the development of your own evolution and you're speaking up for yourself, standing up for yourself, or you know, and living true to that, when you feel certain type of things or energies from all around you, it might not be that always positive. Because I have to say that because, you know, like, because I deal with a lot of negative. Like as positive as I can be and as jolly and kind as I can be, I'm not saying it's always been, or whatever the case may be, but I've had a lot of growth in my life and I haven't been returned in kind. You get what I'm saying? Like from others and stuff like that. So I can't like say, but you know, that could deter and that could be discouraging too. That can make me a bitter bitch too in that department or something like that. But you know, you just have to keep pushing forward, striving and going and doing, like, it's again, it's the steps that you take and stuff like that. But it's not always going to be a positive experience for everybody. Like, you know, like, and I just wanted to say that because I know I deal, not just me personally, but there's people that are like that they're like, you know, as much as I try, and it's not so much that you try, it's just your natural nature of who you are. I'm naturally this way. But you know, people would they like your growth might irritate their demons, like, you know what I'm saying, like, or something like that.
Now let me ask you, the people who give you the negativity, are those like just people passing by, or are those like
right,
so friends, or because it's easy to stay away from those people?
Right. So okay, so my personal experience, especially doing this online, like with the online community, like spirituality has had a blow up, right? A glow up of its own, right? So I hate using the words like that, but I'm just saying it is. But if you travel back 10 plus years ago, I was already doing this. You know what I'm saying? So for 5+ years before this big blow, so as of successfully, I want to say some of 2021, but until now, I haven't really dealt with this particular thing I'm gonna share. But for 5+ years, I was internet bullied, stalked, harassed, threatened. I had to go. I even went to the police. Because they had. I was getting like threats on my business line, like a whole bunch of nonsense. Like, I didn't publicize a lot of it. Like, you know what I mean? Like you just do what you do and stuff. But I dealt with a lot, like behind the scenes. Like it wasn't nice at all. Like it wasn't.
It was people that you didn't know. Just
we could talk about that behind the scenes and stuff like that. But like for the first, I didn't know. I didn't, like, you know, like, it's like, who can that be? Like, but we got, and like one day I just had an epiphany. And
well, there's always gonna be detractors, you know.
Right. So what I'm saying is, like, you know, and then also growing up. So now, if you remember me from little, I know that we were both in the same age bracket, so you were not really paying attention to what the adults are saying. But growing up, I dealt with that too, like the opposition of my I'm different, like, you know, like I don't want to say, oh, I'm different, everybody says that I'm different, everybody says, but like, you know, my outspokenness too, and just like that has been they try to beat that down, like, you know, like a lot, like so when I deal now, like, so like when I post certain kind of things now that irritates people, like if I say, oh, if people don't show you love in a certain kind of way or support and stuff like that, it's not coming from the hurt perspective from before. Even though I speak passionately, I say Pisces moon, I can't help to fucking cry. I just cry all the time. Like it just comes out naturally. Waterworks, like inside me. It's not that I'm in pain. It's not that I'm feeling this. It's like my ability to be able to talk about something is because I have worked through the healing of it. If I wasn't healed from it, I wouldn't speak about it because I don't want to give off the vibration that's off in my alchemy. So I've mastered that part of myself already, to not be able to communicate and to just hold and find the right articulation that's not going to fucking damage me. So, and if I don't have the proper articulation, I'm not going to be communicating it. And if someone can't understand that, like, fuck off. Like, that's just where I'm at, like in that kind of department. But what was I saying? But I was talking about feelings, and
Adults, you were around adults that they would keep you down.
Right, no, but successfully. So like, but no, I was saying something else. I got distracted. Shit, I was saying something else. Fudge.
It'll come back.
Yeah, it'll come back. But like, oh, right. So thanks. But yeah, so now when I speak something, so somebody the other day spoke to me, and because I posted something, they must have reflected upon that, and they maybe took it a certain type of way, and they didn't want that to be attached to them or something. You know how people, they take everything personally. Like if they read a post, they wrong. Like if the shoe fits, fucking worry. I don't know what to tell you, right? Because I don't put my business on blast. So I've never been like that. And if I speak about anything that has occurred, trust me, you're hearing it years later, months later, time later. You're not getting the currency unless you are privileged, like you in my life, and we can talk about my life and things like that. Like I don't discuss my personal life. So when I post something bold or sarky or something like that, it's not that it's happening to me now, which people mistake. They're like, oh, what's going on in her life? Are you okay? Or like they want to hear, I'm fine. It's my healed self tapping into these energies, because you guys also remember I have sessions with people behind the scenes, and now I understand why I go through these certain kind of things, because when they're speaking to me, then I see, and I'm like, wow. So then I'll go and I'll post something that I can articulate now from my healed perspective about that situation. It's not that I'm talking about myself, is that it is what it is. Don't trust your intuition, like certain kind of things. It's better to deal with certain kind of truths that might be a little bit harder to swallow. It's the harder pill to swallow, but it's the unspoken truths that hurt the fucking most, because people want to sit there and play pretend, and they want to act like, oh, no, I'm not sending you bad. No. Yes, you are. Yes, you are, because I feel good and you feel uncomfortable in my good. And you're sending me nasty energy. That's just the way it is. So, and then I get people that I speak passionately about, because now I can stand up for myself. Now I can speak up for myself. Now if I see that shit, feel that shit, you try to vibe that shit, I'm gonna let you know that shit. Walk away with that shit, because you're gonna respect me. Thank you very much, because I'm too kind for you to be that nasty towards me. So now I'm getting a lot of sessions with people that are going through stuff like that. They're like, I feel it intuitively, but when I say something, these people want to act like I'm fucking crazy. No, you're not crazy. I validate you on this. You're not crazy. These people are phony as fuck, and you don't have to be combative, but you could at least be validated that intuitively, and at least now you can grow from that perspective, because a lot of the hangups and a lot of the things that people have a hard time getting over is because these people are never going to admit to that. They're never gonna admit to that.
They don't know. They don't have the consciousness to understand that.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
Sometimes. And those are the ones I have no like. But they're the ones
whether it's ignorance or malice.
Right.
They don't understand.
Right. Got it. I love that. You're so like calm in that saying. Like, I get fired. Like my fire comes out. Like I'm like. No,
because I understand, because I've had conversations like that, and they're like, "Oh, right. I hate this person." I was like, "You got to understand."
I don't hate though. I don't. Yeah, right.
From our conversation.
Right. I'm like, I don't hate. No. I won't.
They want to be angry at them, and I'm like, listen, you got to understand, whether someone does something out of ignorance or out of malice, it's still ignorant, because malice is ignorance.
Right.
So they still don't understand why they're being, why is this person treating me that way? Because they don't know how to overcome their own anger, their own grief, trauma,
and they take it out on you. And there's a whole generation of people that get taken out on, and like and so I feel like I stand up for those kind of people. Like like I stand up. I'm like, no. No, I'll be the one that they can say then, oh, she's a little like crazy, like like whatever, call me whatever you want, I'm okay in my skin. I've worked on it, so you know what, say whatever you want, but you're not gonna call me fake, phony, or like there's nothing inauthentic about what I have to say to you when I have to say it. Like there will be you'll feel it in your fucking bones, okay? Like so so I've lately have had a lot of sessions which has reconfirmed my passion about it, like where it's like, okay, now I can find the articulation of words, and so I can say it in my writing, which is my my first go-to place, because I'm a writer before a speaker. Before I ever spoke, I was writing. So that was my comfort zone. That's where I speak poetically. I write poetically. I am a poet, like, you know, and that's just a free flow. So I find that I can do content, creator content, and make content that could be impactful, make somebody feel or whatever, and then read the lyrics, bitch, in the description box, because there's the description. Read it, because that's where it gets triggered. And I don't do it for a trigger, but I do it, I guess it is for a fact, because like, how else am I supposed to say it? It's not nice what a lot of people do, and it's never going to resolve or evolve if we keep brushing shit under the carpet and acting like it doesn't fucking exist to pacify the behavior that is wrong to begin with. So yeah, I'm gonna be the whistleblower in that fucking department. That's just where I'm at with.
So in your, so in general, like, do you think that it's always necessary to address a person?
No.
Or kind of just fix the way you view it, right? Right. That's more important, like to fix yourself. Yeah, that's fixing ourselves, right? If something gets us angry or something gets us super sad, then it's best.
So I know I speak passionate like that, but behind the scenes, when I work with people, it's to get them to the point of the place of first intellectualizing that which is uncomfortable or doesn't feel good, and helping them to identify, understand the position and place that they're in and all this kind of stuff. And even since intuit be my wave and why they see too, I can also see into why certain people do what they do. So that's helpful in my sessions with people, that even though they don't get the clarity or the clarification from that, it makes sense, that which I say, and that could only be disclosed in those sessions, because there's stuff that I'm saying that I shouldn't know that information, or it's just like, so it's confirmation for them. It's like, oh, okay, yeah. So there's like a certain kind of closure that can exist. But again, like, but working through these kind of things. So the whole concept of it is finding the peace within you. You don't always need to address anything. If you ever find yourself needing to be combative, it's because the unhealed aspect of yourself still feels unheard. It's still hurting, and that's not the other person's problem. That's yours. So you should be more self-reflective, introspective, and work on that trigger, because it's really not about that person at that moment, even though they might be the catalyst or the cause to that triggering. The peace that you're seeking can only be found within you. So there, and most times when you're coming at somebody that way, they're not listening to you anyways, nor are you listening to them. So is it even worth the sense of wasting your breath and throwing it that way in such a toxic fume, when you can find a much more healthier outlet of expression in divine right timing? And you will find the outlet of expression that will help heal your soul in divine right timing, if you allow yourself the space, the place, the patience to have within your whole entire being, to just take that step back and be as alchemized as you can be in this challenging circumstance. So no, I am fiery and burst, but it's coming from an alchemy. For me, I feel like, and I'm not saying always that Jesus righteous anger and stuff like that, because there is no malice to my passions. I'm just a passionate person when I express myself, but I have no ill will, nor I don't seek revenge, or I don't think someone should pay for, like, it's not coming from that. But I will find the articulation of just verbiage that needs to be expressed, that's going to help transform the stuck that doesn't need to exist, if we could just all find the transmission, the traction that needs to build for this. So, if it comes into my light, it's for me to take that which is dark and bring more light into it, and in a peaceful way. I'm about love. I come from a fighter stance, which shows in my position, but I'm really all about peace. I don't want to find nobody. Peace. No, this is peace. That's separation. Yeah, the aliens had it right. They made us hate the aliens. We are aliens. Exactly. I can't.
I can't do it with this hand.
I could only dance in threes.
That is so weird.
No, that's funny.
I can't do it, man.
But yeah, I'm not combative. I'm just expressive. Yeah, a lot of people.
You are very expressive.
I am. So I can't help it. It's in my astrological charts. 11:43 is I love you time. 1:43. See, I love you. You have a 12 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so now that, because I remembered, how can people contact you? Share all your social media platforms, anything that's of importance that is the master link of, and if there's any links that you have for me to share, text it to me so that when I upload this video, do you want to do the premiere again?
Huh?
Do you want to do a premiere again? I have to check my schedule.
Yeah,
we'll talk about it.
I have to check too, because I think I have something at 12 on Sunday.
Okay. No, I have to check my schedule too.
But yeah, I'll send you links. I mean,
yeah, send me all your links, but share this now too on the information.
Ernesto G Rivera, that's where I'm at. Ernesto G Rivera on Facebook, Instagram.
Ernesto G Rivera.
Yep.
ERNESTO G, like George, Rivera, RIVERA.
Yep. At me at Twitter.
Twitter, so at Ernesto G.
I'm on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. But a lot of the stuff there is just, mostly now is like a lot of business stuff.
So what? It's just to be in contact with you. If anybody needs the services that you provide or just wants to get to know you a little better at this time, it doesn't matter. Like, it's not like, it's just, this is where to find me.
and I also do coaching, but more private, because I kind of coach the people that I already know.
Yeah.
You're giving me that battery to kind of spread it out and talk to the people.
I love it. Yeah.
But, I do marriage counseling for men and women. I help people with depression and feelings of sadness and stuff.
Right. I help young girls too with celibacy because they don't understand how to keep their legs closed. So like they're like, how do you do it and stuff like that. Like I'm finding a lot of influence in that department too, because people are like realizing the importance of like you don't need to be loosey-goosey out in there, like like preserve and respect yourself enough to have, like, unless you want to be promiscuous. I'm not knocking promiscuity, like, again, but most people are only that in seeking something that they're still not getting. You get what I'm saying? So like if that's you, right, I'm coming into a lot of contact with a lot of girls like my daughter's age and stuff like that. Like really, like like because I live.
That's an option.
You're so giggly.
Forget it. I have a lot.
Most people think I'm promiscuous because of how I'm flirty and giggly and happy, and like they think like no. 6, you gotta date me. You gotta be my friend. You gotta be my friend for.
I just had a conversation with a grown adult woman who, growing up in church is in the cultist church is very traumatizing. It's very traumatizing because I still have PTSD from my Pentecostal days, and I'm like, yo, these people, like, they put these ideas in your head, like. So I
remember when you was Pentecostal and we went on it respectfully, like not going at it at all, but like just like deeper, even like more conversation, like religion and spirituality. You were always bringing me the Bible, and I was just like blah, and then you were like blah, and then I was like blah, and then it was like blah, and then I was like blah. So there was never ending to the blah, just back and forth. Like we both had something to say.
Right. Yeah. So I had this older sister, right? She's already almost 60 years old, 50 years old. And she was afraid to date someone because she was traumatized with the idea that you have to marry someone that's in your fellowship, right? And she was like, I don't understand that scripture that says the two shall be one. They got to be of one mind. And I'm like, look, spiritually speaking, you have to be one with God, right? You got to be one with your creator, which means that you got to be at peace knowing that the decisions you're making are based on where God is taking you, right? So that's the true unity of man and woman, having your emotions and your logic in check and having them unified in one. So,
or how about too, like in sense of like it's like it's, I don't want to say opposites either, but it's like complementary. I always say that we seek our complementary partner. It doesn't matter belief systems and stuff, that when you find your complementary partner, you just feel that shit. You know that shit. It's like from non-toxic perspective. Like I don't, whenever I speak about relationships, I'm never addressing any toxicities. Like oh, people messing with somebody's husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, cheating. Like I don't deal with those kind of relationships because unless it's usually those are the people who want tarot readings on, like, you know, like, and like where they're like, they want to know the fuck shit that's going on, and they're like, you know, and that's another kind of vibration and stuff like that I don't like, whatever. But when I'm talking about relationships, it's talking about divine counterparts that are healthy, wealthy, stealthy in their environments, that they can complement and further increase and help the other to flourish in every department. Because you, where I am weak, you are strong. Where you are weak, I am strong, and we just help. And the other challenges, if it comes in belief systems or culture and all this kind of stuff, all of that is irrelevant to the chemistry and the union that we're both unifying together in our collaboration, this unity. Like I view it that way, and I think friendship is very important. I think if you can't be somebody's friend without having to sexualize them in some kind of way and all this kind of stuff, and if you can't be my friend without that and all that kind of stuff, how can we be anything else? You know, like what I mean? That is going to be successful and stuff like that. Because when we have challenges in our relationship, it's our friendship that we go to in this department now, right, to make and build and further bridge the solution that's going to be. So, you know, it requires a level of maturity and compatibility in that sense. And also both people have to want that. Like, you know what I mean? But a person has to be, I find that when you find that for yourself, it's because you're in that place for yourself. You know what I mean? So like this woman that is talking about that, she's not, obviously you said she's stuck in the mindset. Like, so obviously she hasn't found that complementary partner because she didn't even know one could exist. Like,
no, that's what her dilemma was, that there was this guy saying that she loved him for so many years. But she was like, damn, but he's not part of my church group and all of that. And I'm like, listen, you got to get out of this idea that something's going to come out of your church group. First of all, you are the church. Right, you are the temple of God. There's not over there in this email group. It's not in this group over here. It's not, like, God is everywhere and in everyone. So the idea that it got to come from this specific place is foolish, right? So you got to come out of that mindset. Your unit, you have to be one with the Lord or God or the universe or the Creator, knowing that the decisions you're making are the correct decisions. You do it in love and patience or whatever, right? So she's like, yeah, but I don't feel like I love him, but I just want to help him. And I'm like, yeah, marriage is not about love. As much as the world will tell you, you need to look for love, it's not about love, because love is a process. Love takes time. You know, you got to be able to endure through trials with someone. And if somebody goes through a tough time with you and they help you out of it, your love is going to grow, right? So
my daughter taught me that. So
if love is the basis for your relationship, you're going to fail because that's just an emotion at that specific time.
You know what the little witch told me though? I just don't want to even forget it. I'm not going to get into it. I'm so sorry. But growing up when she was little, I was like, you love me? She goes, I don't even know what love is. I was like, a witch. Do you fucking love me? Okay, I'm sorry. Go.
No, my wife asked me that all the time. Like when we first dated, it's like I don't love you. I just need you to help me. You know what? It sounds so bad.
Help me evolve.
It's just the facts. It's the facts. I'm not with you because I love you, right? The reason I got with my wife
is because you like her.
Because she was somebody that I saw needed to be loved. I was like, I just want to show you what
you want to take care of her.
To be loved. The same love that I received, I want to show you what that is, right? But that doesn't mean I love you yet, because I don't even know you as a person when you're
Can you give me 1 minute?
No, go ahead.
Oh my God, I'm gonna pee on my phone. Hold on. I don't know how to pause this. How do I pause it?
I don't know, Kate.
I forgot how to do this. Oh, okay.
Being back.
Okay, good. So then, yeah, perfect.
Just in case.
Yeah. Don't you like being able to do that?
Yeah,
It's amazing.
as long as they could do it, then whatever.
Yeah, no, of course. I do that too. Don't worry about it. I'm like, I need like 15, 20 minutes. So,
so love, yeah. So
Yeah.
at the end of the conversation, she was very joyful because I had explained to that. I was like, look, it's funny because in the Bible, right? In the Bible, you see a lot of arranged marriages. You see like, oh, you're gonna take this person, right? There was never any aspect of love, but there is a verse that tells the man to love his wife, right? And what that means is to respect her, to keep her basically untouched from the world, which means that to protect her emotions, right? Like, you don't want to make your wife angry and be like, oh, you're a bitch. Wow, you just pissed her off and now you're gonna call her a bitch or whatever. No, it's not like that. So women are by nature a little more emotional than men are. So as a man, you need to understand that. So you need to have empathy, you need to have understanding, you need to have patience.
What? Yeah, I'm sorry. No, I had wrote something the other day in one of my Marilyn Monroe YouTube posts and stuff like that, because I've been posting like old Hollywood, and I was like, have you ever considered, because I really am big, I might be single and all this kind of stuff or whatever, but I am very tapped into my divine feminine energy and my divine masculine energy, and I know how to be a partner for somebody, like lifestyle and choices and all this kind of stuff. This is conscious of me, like, what I'm saying, and I do value friendship, and again, like, I keep my personal life to myself and stuff. So but I did write something, and I was like, you see a lot of women, like, and I'm seeing it like on TikTok and like on Instagram when they do those funny memes and stuff, because they haven't found a man yet, and like, and they're like talking and like, my man must be riding on a turtle because he got lost along the way or something, like he must got hit over the head, he must have been murdered or something, because whatever. But and it's one way to think about, like, because whatever. But I'm really big on synergy, like, and complementary, right? So I just feel that when a woman makes it safe for a man to be himself, or to come undone in that way, it's coming from love, like, because that's how a woman shows, like, or whatever. So women that are crying about, like, the inability to be able to find, my question then goes deeper. It's, how much love are you actually giving, in return? Because a man, when I'm coming from experience, being tapped into, all men that I've encountered, they want to take care for me, they want to provide, they want to nurture, they want to do these things, whatever and stuff like that. So it's coming from that feminine perspective. And so, like, when you analyze that, of why, and it's because of how nurturing, caring, and granted, you can give that nurture and care and love to the wrong person, right, and whatever. But again, it goes back to the root of the question, is what kind of love are you giving still at the end of the day? Because if you're giving it to the wrong person, then is it love that you're giving? You get, or is it, you get what I'm saying? Like, it goes even deeper than that. So, but when you find people that are complementary and working together as a unit, and whatever, what's a common denominator, I'm talking about healthy relationships. You see that there's a friendship, you see that there's a respect, and you see that she got him and he got her, like, and that's complementary, and that comes from a leveling of security, like, that only two people can give to the other, like, and that's an energy, that's a synergy, like, and I'm really big on that. So, like, when people come and they're talking about how to love and this and all that, it's, what love are you giving that you're saying you're not receiving? Because the moment you're giving that love, trust, you're going to be receiving.
Right. And not only that, but I feel like men and women have lost the concept of the differences between each, because a man is not as, lovey-dovey or whatever as a woman is, right? We all speak different love languages. Like, I go to my wife.
A right man and a woman for each other, and they lovey-dovey.
No, that's what I mean.
I never met a partner that wasn't lovey-dovey, no matter how manly, masculine they be, right? It's because you found the right partner.
No, that's what I mean. Yeah. But that comes with time, right? So like now I know my wife's love language now. So now, every now and then I'll give her a hug and a kiss, tell her I love you, out of nowhere, buy flowers just randomly. and it's I know that's her language, right? And that book that you mentioned, the 5 love languages, right?
Yeah, it's such a good book.
It is.
It's a very
and I feel like everybody should read that, because what happens is that sometimes we look for the thing that we give
as the identifying.
Yes, and that's what I love that. I guess that's what I mean. Like we're looking to have the same emotions and feelings that we have reciprocated, or the same actions reciprocated, but it's not going to be that way.
No, you have to learn. I had to learn that with my daughter with the 5 love languages. That was going back to that, where I had, because when I would tell people, she don't love me, and they're like, that's not true. She loves you, and they would see it. They're like, you don't see that, like she loves you, like she's just but that's also me learning her love language, learning her personality, her quirks, because I had a traumatic experience with my mother, which was I lost her. So for me, if I'm imagining the relationship that I would have with a mother-child, it would be adoration, not fucking comical, Stewie type behavior. Like just yesterday, we're at the freaking nail salon and we're getting a pedicure, and they sit her all the way over there and they sit me all the way over here. So I have my phone down because I'm enjoying my spa pedicure and whatever. And then she's like, Ma. And I'm like, what? She's like, look at your phone. And so I look at my phone, she texts me, she's like, your feet look fat from over here. I'm like, yo. Like, but that's her love language. Like, you understand? Like, I'm like, girl took me out my like peace, kumbaya, to tell me that my feet look fat from over here. Like, excuse you. I'm like, this girl. I'm like, but like, so it's just really, I'm sorry, but yeah.
I know it's a conversation, not a lecture.
No, but yeah, it's learning the love language, and it helped me to see how she showed that to me. And so now she's growing and it's her turn. She's learning love language, like from that perspective. And it's only because it was given to her. Right. That she has the capacity, the space, and the emotional maturity to give that to me and return it. And I've seen it, and it's made me cry in gratitude, because she's like, hold up, Mom, I didn't mean it like that. Like, because she's now holding herself conscious and accountable, because she's learning my love language, which is I'm fucking sensitive. Be nicer to me. I deal with enough. I need a little bit more LOVE, okay? And a little bit like that. So, it's learning that, and that does take time, like you said. Like, you know what I mean? But I just feel like there's just sometimes there is a certain connection we make with a person that's complementary to us, that we may not understand it at that moment, but it's the person that we're committing ourselves to subconsciously, even if it doesn't show up as a relationship right away. It could be in a friendship. Like I said, like friendship is important, but yeah. So
and that correlation, or that understanding that you guys have to have, even if you're not in the same spiritual space,
right?
You should be, really, but you got to talk about, how do we both spend money? How will we raise children?
Right. That's important.
How will we spend time together? Do I have a very demanding job? Are you okay with me being out the house 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, because this is the type of work that I do? Yeah. So it's all of those things is what makes you of one mind, right? You come to one mind by having the understanding, like, look, this is how it is.
Right.
How should it be for you? And then you guys just grow together. So that's an important thing. And it's less about religion, because that's such a dirty word. And it's more about understanding. and I'm telling you, man, I got a couple of people that we came out of the same kind of fellowship.
Mhm.
And I tell her I got PTSD from religion.
Yeah.
Not really, you know, I say it jokingly,
Yeah.
but it's like, man, they beat you in the head with this whole
Crucifixions.
laws and you crucifying yourself and separating yourself from everyone, and whoever doesn't believe like you is your enemy. And it's like, bro, that's not even what the Bible says. It's not even what it says. It says that everybody's one, and we all just have different levels of you know, maturity or faith or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's another lifelong process. And I'm telling you, I talk to people twice my age and they're like, oh my God, thank you, Ernesto. You know, everything you said to me just confirms what was already in my mind. Isn't that funny how people be like, I knew that. I just needed it to be confirmed.
Right.
Because we all given this capacity to understand how life actually works.
But
we need somebody to confirm that for us. Like sometimes, I don't know, you
the validation.
Yeah, sometimes I'll say things that a person is going through that they haven't even mentioned to me. And they be like, yo, you know,
that's intuition.
Right, you're right. And that's exactly what I'm going through. And I'm like, I know because I've been through that. Because I feel like at this point I've been through all types of emotions and all types of things, and I've been through enough where I can literally empathize with everybody. I can empathize with, like, you know what's funny? A few years ago, I found that I was being more empathetic to people that would do bad things and get condemned for it. Like, I know that person did a bad thing, but who are you, Jesus Christ, to come and say that this person is evil and they're doing it? No, they're going.
I'm the same way. I have compassion. I have to still do episode 5 of fucking.
That's why, like, I could sniff the self-righteousness out of people, and I'm like, listen, that what you're thinking is just as wrong as what this person did. You know, not to defend the actions of what people do, but it's just like, yo, you gotta understand, we by nature don't have complete control over our minds and over every thought that comes into our heads. Like, you know, there'll be people in the trains talking to themselves and saying all kinds of stuff, and people be like, oh my, those people are crazy. I'm like, no, that person doesn't have the capacity to keep the thoughts they have in their head. So what they're doing is they're acting out the very thing that's in their mind, right? So sometimes you hear people having discussions and
I talk to myself all the time.
Yeah. So it's just that's what it is.
All the time.
Somebody to condemn somebody for being that way is like, bro, do you not understand how the mind works? And
that was the only reason why I enjoyed the mask at one point. I was like, oh, nobody sees me talking to myself.
You just be like I'm
nobody sees me talking to myself anymore. Oh my God. And then I started getting a little bit too loud. I was like, girl, you're talking to yourself. Stop it.
No, you know what's funny? That I caught myself the other day talking. That's why now I swear I walk around with headphones on just in case I start talking to myself and trying, you know.
I have so much going on. I filter, I answer out loud because there's certain different, like I could literally, like if I could paint my mind and show the different layerings that are happening all at the same time, and sometimes I'm answering a different layer while working on something here, and I'll answer the third or fourth layer out loud. I think it's like a whole process in my mind. I can see it, like whatever, but that's just because I explore those kind of things. Got nothing to do better with my time except to be weird. To be weird and, you know, talk about it and stuff like that. But
I mean, that's the best conversations to have, right, with yourself.
Always. I enjoy my alone. Like I've never experienced lonely except in isolation in terms of symbology, like symbolic, like I feel alone in this world, like that kind of stuff. But I've never been lonely. Like there's a huge difference I feel in that, like, you know, like in terms of like, I guess it can still be a lonely, I guess, like when you feel alone and stuff, but like, you know how like I guess it's just mine is like the feeling of, not anymore though, I'm just saying like this is in relation to like how I felt, like when people be like, oh, I crave intimacy, or I crave a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a friend and all this kind of stuff, or I get that and stuff like that, but I it was never like my cry. It was never, that wasn't my cry.
So
My
that's a
cry,
gift. That's a gift to have.
that wasn't my cry. But still, I went through the evolution. Like even my daughter told me, she's like, maybe you just need a friend. Like, you know, with certain kind of things I have. I'm not saying I don't have friends and all this kind of stuff, but like, you know, just certain kind of things like, but, and then I'll go through the subconscious of that and see and all this kind of stuff. And I understand it from a different perspective of why I'm even traveling down certain kind of seas, like for the articulation and certain kind of things. And I'm like, no, that's not me. And then I find that even if I traveled there, it wasn't because it's so much me. It was because I was just supposed to travel there. Like, you get what I mean? Like, so like sometimes my processes are different. Like sometimes I'm led to places that I'll be like, I'll question, like, really? And it's just because I'm supposed to see it from this light now, you know, not necessarily that this is my, like,
Yeah,
you know, like,
it's like a light in a dark room, and you just,
right.
where's that? Oh, that's where that is. Let's see.
Right.
What's
I like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
You find the wire and you follow the wire. Well, what's
right. So it's a lot of like that for me in living, like, and some people say that's exhausting and things like that or whatever, but I think that if you think of it that way, it'll be exhausting. I gotta take this, so I'm gonna pause this for a second. Hold on. Okay. But yeah, but I do have to start wrapping it up soon too, like myself. Like I got a bunch of shit to do, and like I feel like I have like from, it's in my backpack, but I literally have see how that's all filled? 1, 2, 3. On top of other stuff.
At least you're busy.
You know what I should do. I'm so behind. I'm so behind in like my hobby stuff. Like not so much my hobby, like, but like my YouTube. Like I didn't record episode 5 yet, so I have to record that one. Like I try to pace myself, but there's a lot of little other stuff, and then certain other projects, and then other things that I'm responsible for and have to do, and things like that. So, and then now too, because you know my daughter, like now I'm walking her dogs for her dog walking kind of thing. So now I got added job. It's not a dog walker. I'm like. Dog walker.
Add that to your bio. You know,
dog walker. Like, excuse me, kid of mine, whose job is this? But whatever. So I'm a dog walker now too, on top of everything else. It's just like whatever. And then I gotta send out some proposals and things like that for other stuff, like yogi kind of stuff and things like that. And yeah, on the computer. Can't do that. I gotta upload some more videos to my social media because I got like thousands of drafts. I was going through the archives, like the one that I posted today with the what song was that? With my hair straight.
Yeah. So
that see, this is like coming undone. I'm naked. Stop. Oh my god. What's happening here? I don't know. But anyways, this is gonna change. I can't go outside like this. But what was I saying? Yeah, I got tons of content to edit and do, because I also create content for others too, like certain things, like people like that want me to do the edits for like their little videos, like the way that I do my videos and stuff like that. Like I do things like that too, and I do resumes too. Like I see, so I do use my writing skills for stuff.
Have you ever thought about copywriting?
I took stuff like I had took online things like to start it, but with my time and all this other kind of stuff, I didn't really dive into it. But I keep being led kind of there too. But I do a lot. I'm excellent at editing. I do resumes and I do papers and stuff like that. But I'm not taking on papers right now. I'll edit a paper though. But they're doing their own fucking paper. But resumes, I'm back on it again because I've been doing that for like 25 plus years. Like, and I do them like, I'll get you in. It's up to you to get the job. My resume will get you seen. But You gotta get yourself
You
a
gotta
job. My resume will get you through the door because it's cute and it'll look nice, and I'll do it right up your, like, intuitively. Like, I'll do it on your style, but you know, I just enhance it. So yeah, I like doing that kind of like all the stuff that you see that I post, like the content creations, the edits, and like any kind of graphic arts and stuff like that. I do, like, I do everything myself. Like, I don't, so that's why it's like, and you know, running a business, like every little aspect, you're everything.
Yeah.
My printer goes, I'm calling my daughter, she's tech. my computer be like, Olivia, like, why is this not working? She's my tech person, but everything else I do. She's my tech person, but yeah.
You're talented.
Yeah. But we'll talk about Sunday if we'll do this as a premiere. We don't have to and stuff like that. Like, it doesn't have to be. Or maybe I could even, but we'll talk before I air this one to see when I'll air this one. If we're,
it was cool to it was cool to chat with people. Wow.
Right. I like that. I do. It doesn't have to be Sunday though. Remember that. So we can we'll coordinate when I can upload this one and stuff like that. And then we'll see what works best for us to do a premiere, because the premiere allows you to be in the chat and you could be anywhere. You could be doing that from anywhere if you're at least accessible. I can't do it while I'm teaching, but obviously, like, we can work around that.
Yes.
Yay. Okay. Wait, let me. All right. So bye everybody for this, but we'll talk right here. Like, yeah. Come back. Okay. Hey.